This is the interactive map of Ukrainian and Crimean Tatar studies abroad, by the way. It's placed on a web page of Ukrainian Institute. It was placed in November, by the way, and it contains information about 169 locations in 32 countries of the world. You can actually search them on the map, filter by the state, by type and form, by relevance. So please, you're so welcome to use the map.
If we take all of these locations of Ukrainian studies in the global scale, so thematically most of them are engaged in Ukrainian culture, a bit less teaching Ukrainian language, and even less Ukrainian history or literature. In other words, as for Ukrainian studies all over the world, and earlier also historically, we see the publications of the post-war times. We had this orientation to language and culture and internal analysis of ourselves, not the place of Ukraine in the world or something political, but more like somehow even ethnographic analysis.
This is a question to ourselves, from us to ourselves. This is a question to myself as well, and how to enhance Ukrainian studies, not in the sense of this archaic, sense, like culture, language, history, the big pillars, like something with USSR vibe. No, it's a way for us to understand who we are again. And maybe then we will present ourselves also to foreign countries, present our knowledge, propose our knowledge.
Thinking in terms of expanding our fields, we have to think in terms of what can we find useful for people not studying Ukrainian studies. And that will, open the door for other people coming to Ukraine and to the Ukrainian case to look for explanations, to look for examples, for comparisons with what they are studying.
Right, we're seeing a growth in the quality of sources that are available in translation, secondary literature that's produced in Ukrainian and then translated, right? So it's simply easier now, and the Ukrainian Institute has played an important role in this. It's simply easier now to understand why Ukraine matters. So,
in the first place, there's always lack of financing, and it's usually institutional financing for the support of activities of separate locations, and also financing of certain projects. And again, Ukrainian state does not pay enough attention to them. It's of the second priority. So among the 60 locations, they ask about this attention, about this support, and it's not always about money. Like, we want more attention from diplomatic representatives of Ukraine from abroad, and we would like to have some organizational support, help in networking and other things. And the third problem, which is of high priority, is that many Ukrainian studies suffer because the target audience has no enough interest.
How to generate interest, how to attract students and researchers abroad, why it should be interesting for them. It's clear why now it should be interesting, because we have the crisis, the conflict, the war. Ukraine is always there on the agenda, in the news, and there is a window of opportunities we can use, but it will not always be like that. Sports, we use the approach of Ukraine as case study. We've designing specific cases showing that Ukraine is handling the challenges it has right now, after February 24th, just to activate the interest of academic community. We do not speak only about language, history, culture, of this realm. We speak about energy area, cybersecurity area, also educational area, healthcare, because for the world right now, we're a big source of not only inspiration, I can say, like we are, but also we are an example of how can you handle certain situations.
For these locations of regional studies, as I mentioned, the Eastern European, post-USSR and so on, historically, from the times when those were centers of the USSR that were created at the times of the Cold War, the accent is paid on some Russian visions and Russian approaches to the study of the culture of the regions. But if we are talking about regional studies, they should not be substituted by Russian studies, but all the countries, all the cultures of certain regions should be represented there. We still have Russian Federation as our competitor in this field, academic and educational and research field, and we are not even saying that the grants are given to Russians, but we are saying that they continue their studies and they continue to just take everything on themselves.
Right now, we're looking at Ukrainian studies not like a separate element. Ukrainian studies right now are a part of national security when we speak about the foreign policy, yes? Ukrainian foreign policy.
The most important thing that Ukraine as a state has to be considered as independent international player. And when such conditions happened, it became possible to open the Ukrainian studies as the separate discipline.
Formulating a big comprehensive Ukrainian program, it's hard, but when you enter an existing course, with your optics, even when we talk about global history,
and we are telling about the colonialism, and we are talking about different types of colonialism, and here this optics perfectly shows Ukrainian situation, history.